Here we've got a replacing of the front brakes and the rotor. Generally you would do them both at the same time, mainly because this gets worn. And then they can resurface them, but most people don't do it anymore because they're so cheap to buy new rotors. So you do brakes and rotors at the same time. So to start with, we'll go ahead and just we pop that clip off, because that way when we go to take some bolts off back here, it'll come off. And then when we get ready to take this rotor off, we've got this great set screw here with a T30. We would just undo that. Perfect. Undo that, and then this is free to pop off. But you might as well leave that on for now while you're going to go and work over here. Right? So there's a couple ways. You can either put a big C-clamp here, unless you get the real technical tool, but a good big C-clamp will here, as long as you push on the pad here and on the back here, and then you would just clamp it, and that would push this caliper piston back in so that this is free to move and it's motion to pop off. We've got to push the caliper in some, no matter what.
Oh.
Right? You can do it now, just a little bit, or you can put your screwdriver in here and
between the pad and that rotor. Yeah.
You can push your screwdriver if you can get it in there. And that's just, you can push that back all the way. But generally I do that just to get it free enough when we take this off.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, you can push your caliper back that way. Right. So then we want to remove this piece. Right. And so back here, there's this little cap that goes here. We're going to pop the cap off. Probably have to use a screwdriver to pop it off. Pop it off. Inside here, because you got these guide pins this slides on, is an Allen head. This is number 7. And loosen this, and there's one down here on the bottom also. So 1 down here on the bottom. We loosen these two, and as you loosen them, this whole unit right here will pop off. This piece will stay on. This whole unit pops off. Brake pads are now exposed, and it's all off. The only thing you have left here would be this part of the caliper and back. This we don't want to really try to let it hang by itself because we don't want to put any pressure on our brake line. So you put it up here, hang it generally with a coat hanger or something a little heavier to be able to hang this up out of the way so that we can continue working down here. And now, because we're taking the rotor off, we also need to remove this bolt. There's one on top and bottom. This is a size 21 on this car. So size 21, we would remove this bolt, and there's also another one the same on the bottom. Remove that bolt. When you remove those two bolts, this unit comes off. Out of the way, brake pads will fall off. Good to go. Then you're able to finish taking this bolt off, pop this off. Sometimes these will get a little stuck. You can put some penetrating oil in there while you're working on the rest of it so it can seep in there. Otherwise, you can just tap it with a hammer because we're replacing this. We're not worried about it getting bent, right? You can tap it with a hammer that way, and then you've already got this part removed, so you can tap it from the back and knock it off. And then you put a new one back on, put this screw in, this screw here, the T30, really just doesn't need to be there. So sometimes if this goes bad, you can just drill it out because it's just a helpmate for you so that everything stays together. It's not as crucial as you think. Because this here, the brake pads and unit, will hold it on there. Anyway, so that's tight. So this rotor will stick on here perfectly and hold on. Then you're going to go ahead and put this bracket back on. Put your brake pads in. Right? You'll tighten your two 21s up. Put your brake pads in. Then go ahead and put this thing that we have hanging up here. We're going to put it back down. Put it around it. Tighten these two 7s up. And then we'll go ahead and put this clip back on.
Yeah.
Boom. And front brakes have been replaced. Then you would at least get in your car, pump your brakes up so that they're tight against the rotor, so that when you do pull out of your garage, you're actually able to stop.